So guys, I'm bored and I've got no projects to do. I'm all alone. And so I thought I'd talk on a video because I usually don't do that because when you hear your voice back it sounds really annoying. Well, it does. But today, since this is very much a informative video of which you must talk about because I want to, I'm going to talk to you about how to start blacksmithing, not only on the cheap, but probably one of the best ways to go around it, the way I would suggest everybody do it, because this is how I did it, and it was really fun. Okay, so to start blacksmithing, many people will say that you need about $700 worth of equipment just to start with your basic needs and such things. But you really don't need that, which a lot of guys say you don't, but then there's also the videos, and people have said, I watched a video and it told me that you need about $700 worth of equipment, and you don't. So, because we are people of ingenuity, people who have other responsibilities, and people who at the moment, because we're capitalists, don't have much money, I'm going to show y'all how to do it on the cheap. And, well, let's not say on the cheap. The most ingenuitive, economic way to do it. That right? That's probably not right, but I don't really care. So, what do you need? Okay, to get started, you need an anvil. You need fire, really hot fire. You need a hammer. You need something to hold hot metal with, and you need hot metal. Well, it doesn't have to start out hot, but it will become hot in the end. And, yeah. So, first you need your anvil. Best option for the people who can't spend $400 right now on an anvil is, of course, the railroad track. This is the option I use. I love it. I've modified it. The only thing it doesn't have is a pitchfork hole and a hardy hole, which kind of stinks, but I've made a vice table and it kind of helps me out with that. And it works just fine because we're ingenuitive people, right? We don't have to have everything laid out for us. Okay, second option, which is a very good option, is your mallet. You can go, the Chandler Dickinson way, just hammer on the side, or you could drill a hole in a stump, put this in it, and it will make an excellent hardened face for all your anvil needs. So definitely, if you can't pick up a piece of train track, do this. And a new one, probably $12. Used one, who knows? Have one laying around, absolutely free. If you don't want to use it for blacksmithing, which I kind of did. Next, one of these. This isn't a bad option at all. I have one of these I use for cutting and slamming down on, when I've got a long pole and I want to upset the end. But it's not as hard as an anvil or a railroad track face, but these are railroad plates. They hold the railroad track in place along with the much hated and much used railroad spikes. This is a good option. It's nice and flat. You can use this for fullering, and you can make pseudo hardy holes here. So that works very well. Next thing you need are your hammers. Okay? Go to Harbor Freight. I know people hate it, Harbor Freight, but you literally can't go wrong with it. And even though, a lot of people will tell you the devil owns Harbor Freight for whatever reason, the truth is, unlike some other stores, you don't have to sell your soul to get the tools in the store. So, $10, $8, $9, and you can get the 2-pound one, which is what I started with, but I lost. Not sure where it is, kind of wish I still had it. And that one's like $7, $6, and that's the way you should go. I've had this one over a year, and with extreme use, it's still held up really well, and I like it. So that's what you need. Next, you need metal, okay? Here's what you do. You go literally anywhere and you can find rebar. Go to dumpsters by, construction sites, just walk around. You're gonna find scrap pieces of metal. And unless they're tiny little pieces, which I'm sorry, but I actually have tiny little pieces this size, then you can use it, because blacksmithing, you literally almost have no throwaway metal. You can use like any kind of scrap metal, as long as it's steel or iron. And I use other metals for other stuff, but that's beyond the point. Now, you need something to hold those metals. You will eventually make yourself a good old set of tongs. But before that, you're going to need something to hold the metal while you make your pair of tongs. Which the first thing I made wasn't a pair of tongs. And I didn't use tongs for a long time. But they will save your hands, save your gloves, and make it much more enjoyable once you have them. But I still use some of these today. First best option, vice grips. You probably have one of these. If you don't have one of these tools, you really have to go and buy one. And I'm not going to add them to the price. So, you get one of these. Okay? Best option. Second best, channel locks. Third best, these, I've used them once, literally because I use them for other things and I don't want to beat them up. And one of these, which I've used once because it's far too short for what you're doing. You're going to end up burning your hand. I've used it once. Okay? So that's all you need. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the air supply... Did I talk about the... Oh no, I was saving the fire for the last. Okay, fire. You can use a, campfire, use a hair blower or any kind of oxygen source, and it will heat up the metal to a red hot, and you can hammer on it. I use charcoal because it's readily available and not as expensive as getting propane. I use that, and I started out with a old charcoal grill, and all I had to do was buy, $5 worth of pipe at most, and then just ran some air through it with a shop vac duct tape to it, because duct tape is literally man's best friend. Okay, so that's your fire source, free to spending $5 to $10 on it. So let's say you've had this, you buy your hammer, you do that, and maybe buy, Harbor Freight's $7 version of this, and you're set for, very cheap. Very cheap. I mean, you can get started in this spending about $25, and that's about what I did getting started. Of course, later on you'll put more money into it, but it's like as money comes in, you don't have to do it all at once. And if you're doing this, you can probably make money at it because you can repair things and do stuff for people. And you're an ingenuitive person and you're a capitalist. Dang it, keep on being capitalist, people. We don't need socialists. Anyway, so there's the physical things you'll need. Now there's one more very important thing, and this is going to be on a deep philosophical level. So brace yourself. You'll probably cry. I'll probably cry. Everybody's going to cry. The last thing you need is a good old-fashioned hospitable personality. Well, maybe not even just hospitable. You need to talk to people. You need to be friends with people. The biggest tool people aren't using these days is that everybody thinks they're too busy to talk to people or, to make new friends or whatever. That's a bunch of bull. Because, listen, the greatest thing about the human race is that the human race, we are pack animals. We don't, well, that's not true, but you know, we are very sociable people, at least the sane ones, and even shy people need friends, okay? So this is what you do. You actually talk to people. When you're at a sale, when you're at a, when you're at a party, you talk to people and you make friends with people and you greet people when they talk to you and you talk to your neighbors and you do things like this because not only is this the right and friendly thing to do, but also because it will not only help you out, it will help your friends out. You make connections with people. The whole society of people is better off, okay? So, there is an old couple who walk around the street, or, around the neighborhood, and we talk to them because we're generally nice people. They're nice people, and we get along. And so, I'm talking to them, and I knew them before, blacksmithing, maybe not as well. But anyway, so, I'm talking to them, and it turns out Etoy, the guy who is like 89, still walks around and collects scrap metal to sell. Well, Etoy, being a very nice person, being a person who, likes the idea of people picking up a trade, which a lot of people like the idea of people picking up a trade, and people are generally interested in blacksmithing and things like that. He said, well, you come over sometime, and I'll get you some scrap metal, just get you started with. I go over there, he's got all kinds of metal, and he lets me pick out a couple. Well, you know what, as, I progress in my blacksmithing and stuff, I start trading for him for new pieces of metal and stuff. And because I took this metal, which had a certain amount of value to it, I then changed it into something else to where I could get 3 or 4 pieces because I changed what the value was for it. And so then, thus providing value, I got some more pieces from him. And because he's a friendly guy, and he's a nice guy, and I try to be friendly to people, it helps you out. And, I go to sales. I make connections at sales with people because I talk to the people. And, they're like, oh, well, you should go over to this place and check this out. And you get resources and stuff from this. So stop. And so let's just, if you want to do well at something, talk to people, not only because it's the Christian thing to do, but also because it helps you out, it helps the person out, and it's going to help you with almost all of your endeavors. So if you want to be a person who's successful at something, talk to people. And, it's deep and philosophical, and it may sound kind of dumb in the end when I put it up, but I don't care.